Bro told me how to make it, need like 10,000. Just to fly across the world, I need like 10 houses. Bro ain't got no place to sleep, I got like 10 couches. What you wanna know about me? I got like 10 vouchers. When they say they know my name, it's not like anybody. Me and you are not the same, you wanna be a copy. Stay in lane and be yourself is the best option. Never say yourself short, you ain't no bid for auction. I don't really know what you be meaning. We thinking on the things that we needin'. Can't sleep and even working.
Hey, what's going on, people of the world? Welcome to the Money Initiative, episode 3. And this week, we're going to be talking about 10 things that successful people do every day in order for them to stay successful. And like we always start off and end off with, make sure the outcome is always income. Also, I wanted to speak to y'all a little bit about this as well. We're going to have a guest on this week, but hey, the show got to keep going on. We got to make sure we do what we do. So definitely make sure you share, comment, subscribe, our network. Make sure y'all like. If there's any highlights y'all like, comments, commentary. We also got a hotline as well. You guys can call the hotline number right here, as you can see on the screen. And it is 720-698-6440. Make sure y'all call that number, 720-648-6440. All right, from here, let's get started. 698-6440. Forgive me. All right, so let's get started with the first thing that successful people do every single day in order for them to get to their next level. So this is the number one thing. It says they focus on productivity and not on being just busy, but being productively busy. We live in a pay by the hour sort of world, but if you are an entrepreneur, you should never pay yourself like a boss would pay you. Do not reward yourself for spending time working. Reward yourself for getting work done. When you run your own business, you are paid for product and services, not for time. And what if you want to succeed in a corporate career? Look at it this way: when your productivity far outshines the productivity of your coworkers, you make an impact on your company, and you are the one who is likely to get the promotion. So make sure when it comes to you being busy, because we're all busy. You could call up somebody right now, oh yeah, I'm busy. We're all doing something, but make sure it's productive. We don't want to just do things with no efficiency. You want to make sure everything we do has a plan rationale, strategy to everything we do. We don't just wake up every day and just do things just to say we're busy so we seem like we're being productive. Productivity and being busy is two different things. Number two, this is another thing successful people do. They set smart goals. What is success? Most people would probably define success as achieving a goal. But you can never be successful if you set unachievable goals. Many goals are unrealistic or too nebulous to follow through with. So I'll give you an example. If you've never seen $100,000 in your life, right, and you make $40,000 a year, realistically, instead of trying to push your goal to say I'm going to make $100,000 in 6 months to a year, how about if you make about 40 grand, say this year I'm gonna make 60, I'm gonna make 70. So you could be able to push yourself to that next level, but still get a realistic or attainable goal. Rather, if you say you're gonna make 100 and you fall short, it won't be as successful as saying that I'm gonna make 70 and then you end up making 80 or 90, right? So be realistic with your goals. Instead, try setting SMART goals. SMART goals is an acronym which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. The acronym pretty much says it all. These are goals which are concrete, narrowly defined, and which can measure your progress towards. You can achieve them within an infinite amount of time, and they are relevant to your overall success. So SMART goals, as we said before, I'm gonna say it again. Specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely. So we're setting SMART goals. State it again. Sufficient, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely. Go right there. It's an acronym. Setting a series of SMART goals is a great technique for achieving larger or more loosely defined goals. Think each SMART goal as a run-on long ladder of overall success. So SMART goals are something that you could be able to achieve when it comes to you understanding yourself, understanding your patterns of relevance towards yourself, and being realistic with yourself. For that, we're going to go to step 3. Take the leap. What is the number one reason why many people never succeed at their goals in life? Probably a refusal to try. The higher you set your sights, the scarier the prospect of failure can be. But that is no reason not to try. What you never know can't hurt you, or so you might think. So when it comes to taking a leap, you have to make sure as a person you're taking a leap on things that you never did before. For example, I see success in this measurement, right? The average person in America spends thousands of dollars per year on fast food. Let's say you take that same thousands of dollars you put in fast food and you start cooking at home, and then you reinvest that money into something beneficial for yourself, like an LLC, starting up a business, investing that money into some form of stock, exchange market, maybe NFT, whatever you're into. Reinvesting certain things that you waste money into that creates some form of productivity. Take that leap, because there's so many things that we have we risk our money on that don't have no benefit or success or health measures for our body. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us are consuming things that aren't necessarily good for us, but then we're scared to invest into any product that can actually be beneficial for us. We'll spend $20 on a restaurant, but we won't spend $20 on a book. So let's make sure we're realistic and we take those leaps of faith to investing in ourselves and our future. The truth is, however, it is hurting you. Every day, do not give yourself a chance. Every day, give yourself a chance. So take that leap you have been putting off. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You never know. It could be the leap that changes your life. So at the end of the day, an opportunity might come around that's realistic, that's obtainable. Take that leap. Don't be scared. Take that job, take that opportunity. Number 4, they exercise and eat right. So this is what successful people do as well. I ain't gonna lie, I'm guilty of this as well. This is something I have to improve on, especially eating right. I ain't gonna lie, I be eating terrible sometimes. But successful people who stay that way over the long term do not abuse their bodies. They take time each day to prepare and eat healthy meals and to work out. Even President Barack Obama manages to find time to get up every morning and exercise before work, often for 90 minutes a day. if the most powerful and busy man in the world has time for a daily workout, so do you. You know what I'm saying? So that comes from anything. You know, we have time to invest in reading. We have time to invest in exercise. We have times in investing in eating healthy. So we have to make sure we invest that time into ourselves. I remember Jay-Z told something to 21 Savage, and he screenshotted it on his Instagram story a few months back. It might have been 6 or 7 months ago. But pretty much he asked him 3 things that he does investing in his life to make his life better. And the number one thing on there was health. Health is wealth. So he invests time in his health. You know, there's never too much money you can ever spend when it comes to going to the doctor, to getting procedures done that properly makes you feel better and more successful and confident in yourself. You know, we have to make sure that and I'm not talking about plastic surgery. I'm talking about things as in, getting something done for your hernia if you have a hernia, a back problem, issues like that are really realistically obtainable that you can be able to have procedures on to make yourself feel better. Eating right, getting yearly checkups, 6 months checkups, getting your teeth done. Those things right there make you feel better, which makes you perform better. Health is wealth. Don't ever feel like you're wasting money when it comes to investing in yourself. You know, we all slack on that, but we have to be realistic and make sure we're doing the right things of investing in ourselves, right? Number 5, they lead balanced lives. In a professional world, there is a lot of pressure always to be working. If you are not working 20 hours and sleeping 4, you must not want it badly enough. That is what people will tell you in pretty much any. That is simply not true. And people who live that way will eventually burn out and crash hard. They think they can sacrifice their health, relationships, leisure time for a few hard years and then coast the rest of their lives. Rarely, if ever, does entrepreneurship actually work this way. Most successful entrepreneurs work very hard for a long time. So, I mean, of course you got exceptions, right? You got people like a very successful YouTuber, especially in modern day times, probably the most popular YouTuber in the world individually. You got like Mr. Beast or Kobe Bryant. People who are very successful in their crafts, so much they have like an obsession over those crafts. There is exceptions to those rules. But when it comes to the average day, regular Joe Schmo person, me and you, we don't have that ability to go and work 16, 20 hours per day, every single day on a certain craft. We need breaks in between. Because if we do something like that, realistically, we're not gonna last. We're gonna crash. You have to condition your body just like you condition your brain. You have to condition your work ethic. For example, right? When you start working out, some people can only work out 20, 30 minutes a day, right? If you start doing push-ups, you might only be able to do 5 push-ups a day. But we're going to work towards you doing 10 push-ups. And then after 10, 15 push-ups. Then after 15, 20, 25, 100. So it's a progressive time of exercising that gets your body right, just like you have to get your mind right. In order to have that certain work ethic where you working 20 hours a day on a project, 15 hours a day, where you have an obsession over certain projects, it takes time for you to grow that. It doesn't just happen overnight. And we have these realistic, unattainable goals because of entertainment, social media, and all these other ways of life that makes us feel like we have to do it that way. But in reality, if we just manage our time better and we're realistic with ourselves, we could be able to achieve those goals, right? So don't ever feel like you can't achieve something because you don't have an obsession as these multi-millionaires who've been doing that same craft for 7, 10 years. It takes time to get to that level, and you have to be okay with the numbers and the success and the results you have at that time because you're going to get to the next level, right? It says, that just makes it more important than ever to find time for other important things in your life. Especially for important people, a healthy, balanced life is necessary if you're going to have strength to hang in there for the long term. It's also essential to remember why you want success. Most of us want monetary success to support our lifestyles and families. But if you throw out your life and family along the way, what success have you achieved? And that's true as well. A lot of people will be successful. People will have the money, the glory, the fame. J. Cole said it best. He said, you could have the cars, you could have the jewelry, you could have, the success, the the glamour, but it's not going to make you feel better. Mental health is wealth. Being wealthy is right here. Of course, this helps as well, because the income is at the end of the day, if you got this right, this will always come. One thing that a lot of people who are successful have told me is, if you focus on yourself, focus on your craft, and don't look at the money will come. It always will. So we have to make sure we get our minds right. We're prepared for when that happens, because success financially, the designer clothes, the nice jerseys, right? The nice shoes, that doesn't mean anything unless you have your mental health together. You understand who you are and you're confident in who you are. And when you have that, you could be able to develop yourself a little bit better. So from there, let's see if there's any questions in the comment section or any comments in that way. If not, we're going to head to break. So anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? Coolio. So, all right, y'all. We will head to break, and we will be back for you guys shortly. Like I said before, make sure the outcome's income. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the page. And see you in a second.
America would be great again if our black people come together.
What coming together and unifying as a collective looks like is tearing down systems that are designed to oppress us, to oppress other people, hearing out other people's stories, and not just listening to speak and listening to answer, but listening to understand and be able to feel and know that sometimes you don't have a say in certain things. But just to say, I hear you, I feel what you're saying, and I respect that.
America would be great again if our black people come together.
What coming together and unifying as a collective looks like is tearing down systems that are designed to oppress us, to oppress other people, hearing out other people's stories, and not just listening to speak and listening to answer, but listening to understand and be able to feel and know that sometimes you don't have a say in certain things. But just to say, I hear you, I feel what you're saying, and I respect that.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with TMI, the Money Initiative. I'm your host, Young Activist. And like I always say, make sure the outcome is always income. Beautiful to see y'all. So, as y'all seen for the first part of the podcast, y'all seen how we went into the 5 things that successful people do in order for them to achieve their goals and obtain what they're trying to do in their everyday lives, right? So we're gonna go into the last 5. So this is a 10 guideline step that we should all follow, including myself, to be able to become more successful in our niche bases and things that we're trying to do. So here's number 6 for all of y'all. So number 6, they are realistically optimistic. Successful people focus on the positive wherever possible, but not blindly. Optimism helps us spot opportunities we would miss if we were focusing on the negative. While you must always plan for the future and for potential pitfalls, you must believe there is a way across the chasms of that gap below. Otherwise, you will turn back long before the journey is complete and take a fall along the way. So being realistic and optimistic with yourself, what you have to understand is you have to be positive, but realistically positive. I could say every day, like, I'm going to eventually fly. I want to fly. I want to jump off my rooftop and fly. But realistically, we don't have the human capacity to do that. But it doesn't mean I can't fly an airplane. It doesn't mean that I can't get a jetpack potentially and fly. It doesn't mean that I can't get a trampoline and glide. You know what I'm saying? Or get one of those little suits where they have the flaps under and utilize that to fly. There's multiple ways you could be able to still reach that goal. But you have to be realistic with certain goals and be realistic with yourself. If I'm in a wheelchair, I'm not going to walk, right? So the whole thing is the ability to be optimistic with yourself and be real with your goals is how you're going to get to that next step. For example, if you are overweight and you need to lose weight, realistically, if you're 300 plus pounds, you're not going to lose 150 pounds in 3 months. You're not going to do it, unless you're just going to starve yourself out, which is unhealthy. But it doesn't mean you can't lose 150 pounds in a year. It doesn't mean you can't lose it in about a year and a half, right? So being realistic with your goals and being optimistic and telling yourself every day, I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to do this. I am going to, instead of saying I'm trying, you're saying that I'm going to do it. Because optimism is the next step to goals. Like I said before, health is wealth. Health makes your wealth. So make sure that when it comes to being realistic with yourself, you stay optimistic. Number 7, they make the most of the networks. The most successful people never try to go in it alone. If they do not have to, and they always look for opportunities to network and expand their circle of friends and business associates. They realize that every and could hold the seed of their potential for a new business, relationship, or venture. When they find themselves facing harsh times, they reach out for other ideas, and when others in their network struggle, they offer solutions. Meaning that your network is your net worth. Knowing who you know. When you look at most people in business, Jay-Z talked about this on Kevin Hart's podcast a couple weeks back. He said that, why would I have 100% of nothing when I can have 20% of something? You know what I'm saying? Owning a stock in Google or Facebook, if you own 1%, 2%, your net worth has just skyrocketed times 100. And even though that's just 1%, it means more. Especially within our communities, we have to stop thinking because we have 100% of a business or a product that we're going to be successful. You have to invest in other people, and people have to invest in you. Meaning you have to do it as a teamwork. If you have $1 million plan, you need people to help you get there. And if it requires 100% of your effort, but you got 5 people working on it, you can put each individual person could put 20% in, and then y'all could get that goal faster. Now, are you going to make as much money? No. But guess what? Your net worth just went up, and you might have made more money doing it that way rather than doing it by yourself. Nothing on this planet you can realistically do it by yourself except improve your mental health. And even then, you still need a book to guide you. You still need people to motivate you and push you. So make sure that you always keep your network close to you for every aspect. People are like, oh man, I hate using people or blah, blah, blah. Realistically, we all innately use each other, but society has pushed this ideology that using is a negative connotation, right? But you know what I'm saying? We have to be able to utilize the people around us for positive impact. Just don't be a selfish individual when you do it. You know what I'm saying? Utilize the people around you selflessly for y'all to help each other. Because if we don't do that, then we're not going to be as successful as we possibly can. We got to make sure that we create a family bonding when we're doing things like that. So going on forward, number 8, they keep failure in perspective. You have probably met business people who take pride in having very little experience with failure, or so they claim. But those people are typically lying to you or not as successful as they seem. Maybe they just got lucky and built an empire on a stroke and on the fate of a large inheritance. In reality, successful people typically build on a series of failures and lessons learned. Do not let your past failures weigh you down or make you feel like a failure. Successful people learn from failures every day and recognize that so long as though they do, they still are on the road to success. So make sure when it comes to your failures, be realistic. Like, we already spoke on that, but you're going to fail. You know what I'm saying? There's been plenty of ventures that I personally done where I fail. I still fail to this day. You know, there's things I commit to that I don't follow through with. It just is what it is. You know, we quit. You know, we don't succeed always. You know, people pretend that they push so hard, and some people do, but a lot of us quit. You know, we don't succeed through things. A lot of us don't keep our word, but we have to be able to get better and succeed with what we're doing. You know, and when we do that and are realistic with ourselves, that's how we know we're going to get where we need to go. You know, people fell on you too. People quit on you. And so if somebody quits on you, does that mean you stop achieving your goals? You still have to make sure you achieve your... Excuse me, guys. You still have to make sure that you achieve your goals to the best of your ability. And so that means not quitting. And if you do fail, you know, my auntie one time told me when I was going through a hard time, she said, would you rather quit or fail? Right? And I said, I'd rather fail. Because at least knowing when you failed at something, you tried. You did your absolute darndest and you realized it wasn't for you. But if you quit, you're going to always live with that lingering feeling of regret or what if. Damn, if only I just. Especially if somebody does something similar as successful to that. So make sure you ask yourself, are you going to quit or are you going to fail? Number 9, they log their progress. You can not navigate toward a goal if you have no way to measure your progress. This goes back to setting SMART goals. Remember, the M stands for measurable. Many successful people keep a journal or a log of some sort. This is true for stock traders, authors, business CEOs, and others in all walks of life. Ready to start making progress early? For success and springboard yourself into productive decade. So, when it comes to success, when it comes to being measurable with yourself, like I said before and we stated, they log their progress. Make sure you journal. That's an underrated piece of skill that you that's an underrated skill set you could have is journaling. You know, logging your journaling and making sure that you actually marking your success from beginning to end. When I journal, what I do is I write down the title of what I'm speaking on. I write down the name, the title, the date. The reason I do that personally is because 5 years from now, I can go back to journal entries that I had from 2017, you know, and then 20 years from now, that means a lot to me because it shows my progress, especially if I'm in a better position. So definitely make sure you log yourself, you know, document what you're doing. You know, proof is in the pudding. So progressively make sure you're showing who you are now versus then. And then if you ever want to write a book, well, guess what? You have login titles to what you've been doing since the beginning. So you can document that with your memory, you know, because people forget, right? So we utilize that as almost like a memory source on how we were feeling that day or what we were thinking that day or where our position was that day. So definitely make sure you journal for sure. Journal and get that thing logged down. Number 10, they know how to set boundaries. Many of us are raised never to say the word no, but sometimes you have to say the word no. Not every business proposition is a good one. Not all partners are the right ones. Successful people realize they cannot take on every single project or work with every single person. They know they sometimes have to back off and take care of themselves. Of course, if you can say no in a creative way, that still leaves the door open for future opportunities. That is often a great idea. Do not be afraid to occasionally say no to your own ambitions as well. This goes back to the work-life balance point discussed earlier. You need to sometimes say no to work an hour of work. Yes, to take a little time off. It may not feel like you are working hard enough, but you are. you need time for you too. We hope you enjoyed these 10 tips. So the whole thing is this is number 10 and this is the last one as well. The reason why I wanted to go into that piece is because a lot of the times we have the most opportunity in the world, the most potential, but we actually don't reach our potential because we are too busy focused on pleasing other people. Keep those boundaries up, keep those walls up, especially if it don't benefit you. If you don't see no future benefits, no assets, no opportunities through the situation, take the opportunity to fill in yourself. And then the people who want to work with you or work on you or be progressive with you, bring them on board, but say no to things that are not beneficial for you. For example, if you're a person who goes out a lot, eats a lot of food that you're not supposed to be eating, you might have to put up that boundary. If you got friends who y'all connected through that commonality, you might have to be like, hey, I can't deal with you right now. You know what I'm saying? At least in that aspect, because I want to better myself, and we have to be able to hold those boundaries up for ourselves, including myself as well. Remember one time I was talking to a family member, and they said something to me that was real powerful. They said that love is boundaries, and I agree with that. I think if you put boundaries up, people who respect those boundaries respect you and are making sure that they abide by those boundaries, that's real love. Because at the end of the day, in a relationship, if I say in the beginning of a relationship and I establish boundaries that I don't want you doing this, cheating on me, blah, 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 talking to other people, and you respect those boundaries, that's a form of love right there, i.e. vice versa. And of course, you can adjust those boundaries through time because we're human, we progress naturally. It's realistic for us to progress. The whole thing is keeping those boundaries up so we can be able to progress in our success and allowing those boundaries to adapt and to develop. But keeping that up, don't compromise for anybody when it comes to certain morals. Allowing yourself to succeed and do what you need to do in order to be successful. But those right there, ladies and gentlemen, are the 10 things to being successful in your niche. And so I'm going to read them back to number 1 so y'all know where we started and where we finished. So number 1 is they focus on productivity and not being busy. Number 2, they set SMART goals. SMART is sufficient, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely. 3, they take the leap. Number 4, they exercise and eat right. Number 5, they lead balanced lives. Number 6, they are realistically optimistic. Number 7, they make the most of their networks. Number 8, they keep failure in perspective. Number 9, they log their progress. And number 10, they know how to set boundaries. So these are the 10 key elements to being successful, at least from what's documented in the research that I've done. So now understanding that, I wanted to give a few different tips of advice from people who came on this show in the past. Shout out Brother Jeff and shout out my brother Ryder who came on here in the past. One thing that Brother Jeff said that really stood out was he said that woke people stay broke. And the key thing is you don't want to be broke. You want to make sure that you are finding ways to be successful. Just because you're doing positive things for the community and you're actually making sure that there's progress in the community does not mean you have to be broke. You can still be successful and build up your foundation. You still got bills to pay. You might have families to feed. You might have children to feed and raise. You got to make sure that you get your minds right and get your money right. Don't allow yourself to stay in this stagnant position of feeling like I got to be in that position because the government. We got to utilize this position and this mental, physical bondage and slavery that we in to be able to create financial compensation. And at the end of the day, I think that was one of the most powerful things I heard for sure on these podcasts. And even with my brother Ryder who came on, while he was working on NFTs, becoming successful, my man said that he had a family, he had 2 kids, and he worked during the day, and then at night, 10 hours plus, he was invested in himself to make sure that he could fulfill what he needs to for his family while he has a family. So there shouldn't be any excuses. If the average person can do it, we can do it as well. And I wanted to close off that just by shouting out the 2 who came on this podcast. We appreciate y'all, and just understand y'all words are not in vain. And like I said before, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share our network, the Money Initiative. And like we always state before, make sure the outcome is always income. I'm your host, Young Activist. Thank you.